is sitting up there at the top with a couple of other guys at 4 under. Matt Fitzpatrick, Harris English. You got Scotty Scheffler at 3 under. The Hogart brothers both at 2 under, which is really, really cool. Tyrrell Hatton's up there. Lee Westwood's up there. But there's a lot going on. And there's 4 Canadians in the field. And to get into it, let's talk to a guy who knows Canadian golf very well, and Royal Portrush for that matter, because he's been over there all week and he was on the grounds all day today. Here's the CEO of Golf Canada, Lawrence Applebaum. What's the weather like over there, LA?
Well, it's still light out at 9:45. Sun is starting to set, if you can believe it. It's been a 4 seasons and 15 hours on the ground here.
No kidding, man. No kidding. Like, it was wild this morning, and long rounds too. Like, what you obviously are, as directly involved with an Open championship as you can get with the RBC Canadian Open, and they can be long rounds. It's a big field, but did this feel particularly painful? The amount, like how long some of these rounds were taking, or what?
Well, Brian, you've played with a lot of people that take painfully long to play. You know what that's like. And,
Yes.
and I'm not talking about Frankie Corrado. He plays with speed.
That's right.
But I would say full field, when you've got a full field Thursday, Friday of any tournament, it's a long day. They've got a lot of light, so that's okay. The interesting part when you think about where our Canadians played in is the first tee ball's at just after 7, but Nick just finished his round, and so Nick will go out early tomorrow. So late finish 9:45, and then he's at it, at 7, whatever it is, 7:20 tomorrow morning. So it's a quick turnaround, but full day, that's for sure.
LA, prior to the tournament, a lot of people were talking about the speed of the greens and how they would be significantly slower than what the players are used to playing on the PGA Tour. How much have guys talked about that, and how big of a factor was that today?
Yeah, I mean, one thing we sort of heard from our Canadian guys and a few others that were sort of sharing some stuff around the practice green is it's really hard for the North American players to get there, to make their brains believe what their eyes are seeing, right? It looks great, it looks great, it looks pure, it looks fast, but when it actually comes to hitting the putts, they're just not rolling as fast. And with a golf course like this, we don't get a chance in Canada to see too much links golf or to play too much links golf, but so much is affected by the wind, it's affected by how it's rolling towards the water, away from the water, and things like that. So it's a bit of it's a real experience. It's super fun. I mean, I caught a lot of it on TV as much as live. It just looks, it really does look as good live as it does on TV. There's not a tree on the property. It's these beautiful vistas. And then once you get out there, it's brutally hard. Like, it's so hard.
How did our Canadians make out today? By judging by their score, it wasn't quite what they expected or wanted to do the first day?
No, it was tough. It was a tough day at the office for the guys. They had they probably got a little short end of the stick where the meat of their rounds was in tough conditions. So it was a typical sort of 4 seasons you get in one day, and our guys went out in pretty tough conditions. It was raining, then it kind of cleared up a little bit, and then it got windy. So it was a long day. Our guys probably didn't do what you were saying, Strutty, not as good as they expected, but I do think you get a good day tomorrow, and probably the cut, they're sort of talking around the cut being around 4 over. So you have a good day tomorrow. Corey's right there, and our boys, they have a good day tomorrow. I think we're going to do okay, but it was a tough one out there.
Absolutely. With Lawrence Applebaum of Golf Canada, Corey Connors 3 over, Pendrith 4 over, Taylor 6 over, Hughes 8 over. But like you said, if the cut line's going to be 4 over, then there's still a lot of opportunity to, at a minimum, make the weekend. Rory McIlroy has had such a fascinating year, winning at Pebble, winning the Players, winning the Masters. And then he hit that dip, and it coincided with coming up here, obviously, to TPC Toronto, and he performs, horribly. Let's call it what it is. I mean, on the Friday, I think he shot 78. It was a real struggle. but he seems to have really turned things around, Lawrence. And like, you've been around him, you've met him a bunch. What kind of disposition are you seeing out of him? What kind of body language are you seeing out of Rory today compared to what we saw a month and a half ago? And how significant is this tournament at this course in particular, because it is in Northern Ireland?
Yeah, I think, I mean, we'll both remember that you lost to him by one stroke. You know, your pro-am number at 79.
Right. Valid.
You missed hitting him by one.
Almost had him. Bad read off your
Almost
putt.
had him.
Bad read off your putt on 18.
Blame the caddy.
You jammed me there.
Yeah, he jammed you. But the thing was, nobody was more gutted, honestly, than Rory about, just didn't have it up at TPC Toronto this year. And I mean, the guy was gracious and did everything that, you can ever ask of the guy. And sometimes it just doesn't work out. And so we're excited that, Rory has been synonymous with our event, the RBC Canadian Open, since when he went back-to-back, on the bookends of COVID in 19 and 22. And he's just been, such a great fan of our event and participated, and we couldn't have asked for more. The interesting thing out here, guys, is seeing, he's from nearby Hollywood, which is pretty funny to say, but he's from nearby. The bars, the pubs, the restaurants are jammed to the gills, rooting for him. Like, he couldn't be a more proud son of the region. And so, he's just got that. He's got that hop in his step. He's really, he looks fantastic out there. He didn't start. He did some media where he said he was thinking about, 4 years ago he went out of bounds off the tee, and then he said, all I've been thinking about is coming back to Portrush and getting off that first tee okay, and he almost did that. Unfortunately, he did bogey number one. But Rory McIlroy at Royal Portrush is kind of like, it's almost like the energy behind a deep playoff game for the Leafs. It's just electric out here. And there's a bunch of guys, you've got Shane Lowry, obviously, who won in 19, and then you've got a few other famous sort of sons here. You've got Darren Clark, and then Padraig Harrington was sort of first out this morning, somewhat ceremonial. So it's great. The Irish love their golf. It's a game for every person here, which is kind of the way the game has been starting to flow in Canada and places around, where everybody's enjoying it. Everyone's playing. It's so funny to see so many, relatively famous or people you recognize, and they're so into their golf. Like, I saw Niall Horan today walking with Rory's group. I saw a bunch of other athletes, footballers that were watching and being part of it. So it's an amazing phenomenon, and the sport is in